She said there is something creepy about the second floor of this house. She genuinely believes that this house that she bought is haunted.
I have a very weird vibe in here. I don't know anything about this house, but I'm getting the vibe of like an elderly couple.
That's really...
It was February 19th, 2023, when two paranormal investigators were contacted by a woman who thought her house was haunted and wanted them to investigate.
So we were contacted by a lady named Pam who genuinely believes that this house that she bought is haunted. And it is right up here.
Oh yeah, there it is. Definitely has a weird vibe.
It does. It definitely has that apprehensive, creepy energy when driving. And the funny thing is Pam doesn't know anything about this house. Pam, the owner, doesn't know anything about this house either. Back behind the house, in the line of trees back there, that there used to be an old one-room schoolhouse, and it was rumored that that one-room schoolhouse burned down. She's had the impression, and she's even seen children, the spirits of children, around this house.
While living in the house, strange things happened to her. One of these occurrences was when she took pictures around the house and captured something unusual.
And took two photos. The first one that confused her was a picture of her car that appears to be surrounded by a mist. Look at the tree line and believes that she can see a small misty figure standing in the trees, watching her.
She eventually decided to leave the house. However, before selling it, she wanted these investigators to check what was really inside the house. And so, the investigation began.
The room that I guess anyone that's ever come here has felt uncomfortable in.
But do you feel uncomfortable in there?
I don't know yet.
Horror.
Not only have people gotten so uncomfortable that they've had to leave this room, but Pam has also noticed that it's the only room in the house where flies collect and die on the windows. This only adds to her suspicions of this room being haunted.
Frank.
Frank?
Frank, like the name, the man's name, Frank. If there's a man here named Frank, the horizon is turning orange. Let's go grab the cameras, set up all of our night vision stuff, battery up the equipment, and see what we can capture when this house is completely empty. Let's start this out just like we would any other investigation.
Yeah.
As they were setting up their night vision cameras, one of the cameras stopped working for no apparent reason.
Second floor, right here, we have a camera set up pointing across this main bedroom and towards this doorway here. That's really bizarre. This camera right here just decided out of nowhere that it was going to completely stop recording. It didn't shut off, the file was not corrupted, it just stopped recording for no reason.
That was very...
Little did they know the camera shutting off on its own was just the beginning of the strange events about to unfold in the supposedly haunted house. Soon enough, they noticed another strange occurrence.
Before we left, I placed an LED flashlight on the kitchen table. This flashlight has 3 color settings, and that's into abandonment. The flashlight mysteriously turns off by itself, then slowly fades back on, this time in the blue setting. Every time
the flashlight then slowly turned back on by itself. The investigators were not in the kitchen or anywhere near it to trigger this. So, was the woman right? Was the house really haunted? They were about to find out soon enough.
Could be something paranormal.
That's right.
What was that?
What was what?
You didn't hear that? Sounded like something slid across the floor upstairs.
I did not hear that, but we have a camera up there, so...
And something just popped up on the SLS right over where I heard it from. And now it's gone.
It sounded like something fell somewhere. However, being completely packed and with no other humans in the house, this was quite unusual. As they continued recording, they heard this.
Whose house is this? Tell us your name. was weird.
Sounded like screaming.
It did.
What did that just say? A lot of interference over here coming through this.
Yeah.
There was a married couple. He did this? Home?
Weird noises, screams, and things falling here and there were heard the entire time the investigators were in the house. As they continued investigating in complete darkness, they decided to try a new approach.
Oh, where's the blindfold?
Whoa. Nobody's moving. That was weird. To talk to us. Dave is right there. And he can hear you if you speak through that box that he has.
Dave was left alone in the room, trying to communicate with the entity in the house, while the other investigator moved around the house with his camera trying to capture something.
To talk to him if he was more alone.
There was a very low male voice that tried to come through.
Ooh.
Hang on here.
Yeah, there was the, since you put the headphones on,
Yeah.
is I walked out of that room and onto the stairs, and as I was standing on the stairs completely still, the Mel meter started going off behind you.
Really?
So I don't know if you...
During the investigation, they heard a low male voice only once. Other than that, it was as if the entity in the room was not in the mood to communicate. Next, they brought more equipment and decided to ramp up the investigation. This is what happened.
Computer?
We're not running. Why do you want us to run?
Oh, that's weird. It said, "Why am I here?" And then the EDI is just going nuts with like all of its lights. Not just the temperature drop, temperature rise, and air.
Not only did the temperature suddenly drop in the room, but also the EVP recorder they were using kept saying strange phrases. As they left, they knew without a doubt there was an entity in the house. However, who exactly it was and what its intentions were remain unclear, leaving us with hundreds of questions and only this video for answers. It was the night of October 7th, 2012, when a guy named Michael sensed something unusual in his house. As he got up and went to check what was happening, this is what he recorded. As he moved towards the staircase, sudden footsteps were heard. However, we can all see that no one was even near the stairs. Scared, he still went to check what it was, and as he entered the bathroom, he recorded this. The cupboard door opened on its own. As he checked inside, there was nothing that could have triggered it. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened to Michael. Just a few days ago, he was setting up cameras in one of his rooms. Everything appeared normal until something strange happened. Take a look.
Obviously it's a bit extreme, probably white balance to the colour, but you get what I mean. Not tries the fluorescent colour. It's essentially green, it reduces the effect or matches the effect of the fluorescent light.
The fridge door not only opened on its own behind Michael, but also closed by itself in a matter of seconds. It happened so quietly that Michael didn't even notice until it closed. That same night, something even creepier happened. What sounded like someone walking was caught on camera, followed by a loud thump. A few months later, Michael heard banging noises coming from his bedroom and went to check. He recorded something beyond strange. Take a look.
Hello? I know you're in there, you may as well show yourself. Oh. This is getting old.
As he opened the door, something passed by very quickly. The movement was too fast to discern anything. After checking the room and finding nothing, the door slammed shut, and he found the ceiling lamp moving on its own. All this happened within minutes, leaving him scared and shocked. There is no doubt that an entity in Michael's house is trying to scare him. Yet Michael continues to live in the same house, documenting his life and the paranormal occurrences there. On July 1st, 2022, a man named Lee recorded something scary in his house. Lee had long believed his house was haunted, but this video confirmed his suspicions. This is what happened. As Lee and his wife were sleeping peacefully, there was a loud thump in the middle of the night. He woke up to check what was happening. However, there was nothing in the room which could have caused it. Later the same night, as he was describing what he felt at that time, more noises were heard.
I can't really describe how tired I am at the minute. Feels like I've not had a good sleep now in week. I was just chilling, watching my phone, and I don't know what it was, but something's either been flung across the room or knocked over on drawers, and this has started. After this, I'm never ever going to do another ghost hunt. I'm never going out looking for ghosts or anything. I think I can't risk this happening again.
As he lay on the sofa sleeping peacefully, his camera recorded this. Out of nowhere, a black shadow appeared on the floor, and in a few seconds, it moved out of the frame of the camera. However, soon enough, the shadow appeared again. Soon, the shadow reappeared, resembling a human figure right behind Lee, who was unaware of it. Just seconds later, Lee tumbled off the sofa. According to him, someone pushed him while he was asleep, and his expression suggested as much. As Lee opened his eyes, the shadow disappeared. This wasn't the first time such a thing had happened to Lee. His house had always been full of strange activities. He once recorded weird entities in his house through a ghost app.
Price from the tyranny as already thou has fought that cruel ancient serpent who is called the devil or Satan, who seduces the whole world.
What were those entities? What is the history of the house? No one can tell. With Lee recording every day and every detail, one thing is clear. He has gotten quite used to living with these entities in his house. A woman moved into a new apartment with her daughter, unaware that things were about to get creepy. Initially happy in their new home, the peace lasted only a few days before something strange happened.
It feels beautiful and funny. What he was doing? They want to play.
The little girl can be seen talking to someone. However, there is literally no one in the room.
Do you want to sleep?
Up to this point, it could be just a child talking to herself, which some kids do. However, what happened next was far from usual.
Come on,
The closet door slowly opened on its own, and strange sounds could be heard. This understandably freaked out the little girl, who kept looking at the closet as if she saw something or someone not visible on camera. Footsteps could also be heard. Scared, the little girl got up and left the room, not wanting to be near the entity in the room, making this video incredibly creepy. On October 28, 2022, a man named Dave went to the haunted Hinsdale house. The house is famous for paranormal activity throughout New York. However, that did not stop Dave from exploring this house.
As far back as the mid-1700s, this land has known nothing but murder, massacres, and death. 2 brothers purchased property from Charles Everts, who was thought to have built this house that still stands today. He opened it as an inn, and that inn was known as the Hinsdale. Ian and Richard were rapists. They were thieves, using the Hinsdale house to trap their victims. Many travelers of the time heading west from New York City stopped at the inn for the night. Most never left. And it has been well documented that the bodies of their victims were buried either in the cellar or in the hills behind the house. Or some reports say that in the winter, they were simply stored in the attic of the house until the ground. Many to believe that the Hinsdale house may very well be the most haunted house in the state of New York.
As Dave and his friends entered the house, they started the investigation right away. This is how the investigation went. Take a look.
Okay. This is Crystal and Dave in the Hinsdale house in Laura's room.
Laura's room.
All right, Laura, if you're in here, can you turn on the flashlight for me? If you light up the device, I'll sing you a song. You don't want me to sing to you? Can you move that doll right there? Make her turn her head or something.
It's very cold in here. We're losing battery power. This bedroom is fully charged.
This room or this room next?
No matter how long they tried, no one answered their calls. It was as if either the spirits had completely abandoned the place or they were not interested in talking to humans. But then, soon enough, things started to change.
You can come in here and sit down with us. Come hang out and talk with us. Wait, the light. The flashlight.
Do you turn the light? You don't have to, but I'd like you to.
And later, they realized that this is what they had picked up on their recording device.
Talk to you.
Did you catch that? I'll play it again with the volume turned up.
I'd like to talk to you.
A slight growl was heard on the device, and soon enough their camera captured something unusual as well.
Time that we captured the EVP of that growling sound, something moved across the frame in the grid light. I capture an orb moving across the frame.
An orb was recorded moving on the camera, with the dotted pattern made specifically for any kind of movement. Dave was sure that there was something or someone inside the house. Unfortunately, this is where they conclude their investigation, leaving us wondering what more could have happened had they stayed there longer.